This one was recorded by so many greats, including Charlie Parker, Dexter Gordon, Freddie Hubbard, and so many more. In this video, you're going to get a map of useful targets over the jazz standard Star Eyes. Hi, my name is Jason Klobnak, and I'm a jazz trumpeter from Denver, Colorado that helps musicians find a better way to improvise. If you're looking for a quick jazz improv tip that will help your soloing, then you've come to the right place. When the calendar flipped over to 2021, many of us looked at what we accomplished and what we didn't get done. One thing that's been on my resolution list every year is to learn more standards that I don't know, revisit ones that are forgotten, and to be able to play ones that I'm familiar with in keys that don't usually get called. So I wanted to invite you into this journey with me. This standard, for me, falls into the revisit ones that are forgotten. When there are hundreds, if not thousands, of must-know standards out there, it can be easy to forget ones you had memorized years ago. This Jean DePaul standard that was recorded by so many of the greats, unfortunately, is one that I needed to revisit this week. And I'm glad I did, because it brought me back to listening to some great recordings that I haven't listened to in quite a while. So if you're ready, let's map it out. This is an important process of learning a new tune or getting under the hood of an unfamiliar progression. If you drive your vehicle from one destination to another often enough, you'll get familiar with how to get there and what alternate routes can be taken if there's traffic or roadblocks. I have found the same is true for improvisation. If you've played the same chord progression often enough, guess what? You know how to get around. However, if you're in a new city, or in this case, have a chord progression that's unfamiliar to you, you may want to map it out or have some type of GPS guide you. For me, the less I have to think about when navigating something new, the better. When you do this, don't get bogged down with too many options to start. The more familiar I become with something, the more I can expand my options. When you're driving in a new city, you want to know how to get from point A to point B. You're really probably not too concerned on the first trip or two about alternate routes. I like to take the same approach to mapping out new chord changes. When I map out a new chord progression, I will look for commonalities between the chords. Are there key areas or key centers I can look at? Can multiple chord changes share the same or similar pattern? If there are commonalities, I explore those avenues first. Then I'll make a simple map of targets that I'm going to aim for along the way. Star Eyes is a great one to look at for those that like to see key areas. One thing that I tell my beginning students is to look for major 7 chords, then look immediately to the left. Are those a 5-7 of that major chord? Or a minor 2 that goes to the 5-7 of that major chord? If so, you've got yourself a key area. That happens right away in the A section to Star Eyes. We have the key of E flat here, the key of D flat here, and the key of F here. 3 key areas, all within the first 7 measures. This last measure looks like a 2-5 that takes us back to E flat. Instead of the minor 2 chord, though, we have a B dominant 7. What's the relationship between F minor 7 and B7? This is similar to a tritone substitution, but instead of it happening on the 5 chord where you might normally see it, it's on the 2 chord. It's not truly a tritone sub, though, because B7 and F minor 7 don't share the same 3rd and 7th. It's off by half step. So guess what? That's a spot that I'm going to highlight with a target. The bridge goes to the main key area's 4 chord, which is A flat, and then a 2-5 going to the key of G flat, and of course, a 2-5 that takes us back to the key of E flat, which takes us to another version of the A section with this 4-bar tag here. This is called a few different things in the education world, but I like the term planing. It's taking the same quality of chord, meaning major, minor, dominant, those type of things, and moving the root in different types of equal adjustments. In this case, it's planing the dominant sharp 9 chord down by half steps until you get to this C7 sharp 9 that acts as the 5 of F minor 7, which, guess what, is the 2 chord of E flat. Yep, it takes us to another 2-5 of E flat that rounds us back up to the top of the form. Here's my map of targets I'm intending to hit along the way. Because they're mostly all key areas, I can use the global key area targets. This is the 1, 3, 5, even the 7 of the key area of the moment. It can work really well because those targets can become other chord tones on chords that are not the 1 chord. There's a lot you can do with just that, especially when key areas shift every couple measures. Does this mean I won't use micro targets, which are the chord tones on the chord of the moment? Some of you may know them as guide tones. Well, not necessarily. I can use those as well. If you notice, I included one note as a target in some measures to reflect a chord tone that's not the key area, but rather the 3rd or 7th of the chord that it's on at that moment. One thing I might try to do with that is to find the closest whole step or half step away from each key area's target. For instance, this B flat in the key of E flat steps down a half step to the A flat on the F minor 7 chord, and it can go a half step down to the G on the E flat major chord. That's a micro target navigation. The macro would look at the B flat in the key of E flat, then go a whole step down to the A flat in the key of D flat, then go up a half step to the A natural when you get to the key of F. This looks at targeting between the key areas. So the next step is to pick the tools I might use to get there. Remember, this is my process for working something out. Obviously, if I were to play this on the bandstand with other people, I would want my ears open and try to have a musical conversation with them. But until then, I need a way to navigate these changes. So I'll pick a tool or two and work them out. For this one, I think I'll use chromatic targeting to connect my targets as my main tool. If you'd like to check out some of the different tools and how to use them, there are links below in the description that will help you out. I'm going to play a chorus using the chromatic targeting tool, along with some others, and then give you an opportunity to try it out. I'll even use some of the melody's rhythms. If you recognize one of the other tools that I'm using, let everyone know in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it has added value or benefit to your playing in some way. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell that's right next to it that lets you know when another video comes out. And if you know any other musician that might find this useful, you can share it with them too. Until then, my name is Jason Klobnak, and I'll see you on the next one.